Welcome to Fort Stanwix, New York's Rome. As you can see, this is a very, very wooden fort. People might think that a wood fort's not that good protection against cannon, but between the inner and outer wood walls there is dirt, and when shot by a cannonball, the dirt absorbs the shot. And as you can see, there's a 3-pound cannon in front of me, which is used so in case the gate is broken through, you can kill the enemy. As you can see, it's walking around the fort. This museum, but you cannot go in there. There's a bomb shelter. That is really dark and I can't see anything in there. Walking around, as you can see right now, this is what most of men's barracks would look like. They were built into the wall, and some, but only a very few, actually had housing inside the barracks. This is the entertainment barracks where people would sleep, have fire, just sing, talk, and all that crap. As you can see, living conditions in the fort, not that good. Just got wood, place to stack your arms, fireplace, straw bed. Not much to look forward as a soldier. As you can see, you can go up on the wall, but due to the fort's repairing conditions, they do not allow you to go onto the walls, except for one part. Although this fort is all reprotection, you only have one part that is actually a real foundation of the fort, which is one fireplace. And so it has to be under climate control. You can see here, this is a surgeon's quarters. You can see there's some medicine out. It is bed. Yeah, not much different than the Norseman, but at least you get bed. See, they're excavating on the fort still. You walk in here, it's more officers' quarters. You can see there's a mortar, and the officers have better eating conditions than the men. Same here, officers' quarters, and you're able to play chests and familiarize yourself with other officers, except this room is the commanding officer's quarters. So it's a slightly better bed and slightly better living conditions. Yeah. So we go in here. Family quarters where the women and children of either the officers or the men would sleep. It's a little better living conditions since they're women and children and not soldiers. This is the junior officers' room where the ensigns and lieutenants would stay. It's a little same thing, except you don't get as much privacy as a commanding officer. This is one of the few soldiers' quarters where, if you were lucky, you would be stationed in here, where you have at least a fireplace and straw bags for bedding. It's a little better living condition than the ones built into the wall, where it's just a wood with straw on top of it. A little better, except you get the bedding. It's just a sally way to get through the fort. This is the artillery room. As you can see, the artillerymen were separate from the army. It's a little cartouche bag where, when you're in battle, they put the cartridge inside the bag and advance it to the gun without any chance of getting it ignited while advancing. And you can see here you got a 3rd New York regimental coat here, except that you wouldn't have the collar on it. Canteen and another coat, which I have no idea what regiment it is, and you got yourself a frock coat there and buckets for the artillery. You got a sponge here with a rammer at the bottom, wine stuck, a worm, and different shots for the artillery. As you can see, the artillerymen didn't really have to do that much drill, otherwise try to remember how to fire the cannon and load it. But their officer had more of the work to actually aim and fire the gun. We enter the cellars. I'm gonna ask this man if he can explain us what's all in here. Good evening.
Hi there.
Could you tell me a little bit about this shop?
This is actually called the Sutlers, which is a military term for a general store, a trading post, and then later at night it turns into a tavern. These are some of the furs that are being brought in. I'd like to look at them a little further. Local natives in the area, especially Oneidas, they're the ones who are bringing the furs into trade for the better finished goods, such as blankets and iron kettles and knives. And I said later in the evening it turns into a tavern. Soldiers do get a ration of rum at the end of the day, but they obviously, if you've been around the fort, you notice that they like to have an extra ration.
Yeah. Don't want a drunk soldier running around the fort.
And these are some of the goods. Officers can come in and get better grades of goods, obviously. Then we have some general, some plates, anywhere from wooden plates and bowls for the soldiers up to better china for the officers.
It's interesting.
So if you'd like to handle furs, you can.
I just love the bearskin. They have a hat made out of it.
Oh, I say yes. Well, we have a couple of them. This is a nice one, but we have another one over here as well. A couple of beaver pelts as well as a wolf skin.
Yeah. Hello.
Hasn't got much to say.
Yeah.
And a couple of beaver pelts. And of course the black bear.
Got your tobacco hanging up.
Yes. You'd like to smoke?
No.
We have either buy your own personal pipe, or we have a couple of pipes you might want to try out. Tavern pipes.
It's interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
missionary's tent, pastor, or maybe a Bible thumper. Maybe that would. Maybe try convert some Indians into Catholicism or Christianity. Maybe help the men with Sunday church services and such. So a little key that can go this way. And the only wall that you can walk up at this time of the year, as they are under construction on the top, making stepping for soldiers. Now they do have French and Indian War and Revolutionary War reenactments here at the fort, but I don't think unless they get a whole lot of men, there's actually a real battle. And there's a gun. I'm guessing it's a 3-pounder. It's on a fort or naval carriage. And it's overlooking a church. I guess they don't like priests. And this is about the dumbest aiming position I've ever seen. It's a cannon aiming right at its own fort. Yeah, whoever aimed that gun, I think that officer should deserve a demotion from service. This is just your regular old field gun on its own field carriage. As you can see, it's easier to move by a man instead of just being disabled and hauled around. You can just move it different positions, from just shoving a stick in there, moving it around, or you have a chalk to able to angle it up. It's a nice view of the fort right here. But it's a pity that you can't really walk around that much. This is just an air hole for a bombardment tank, which is underneath the fort, underneath the ground, so you can get some cover from mortar shells and such. Although this fort was made in 1758, when the British abandoned it, when it started to decay and rot, it was rebuilt in 1776 by the Americans. But in then was completed in 1777.
And we also have some summer visitors in the form of some honeybees.
And this was the only fort that was not able to be besieged, or I guess it was the only fort that wasn't able to be captured or had the officer forced to surrender. So all the forts in the American Revolution, this was the only fort that was not taken by the British. That's Fort Stanwix.